Yeah, hey everybody. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit, kind of a high-level overview of what DevOps is and how we're going to use it to make your job easier. So who am I? My name is Nicholas Hallman. I'm a full-stack, full-time developer at Zebu Infrastructures Online. We're building an end-to-end, no-knowledge encrypted solution for enterprise businesses, small business, medium businesses. And our whole thing is that whenever you upload anything into the application, it's completely encrypted. If I go into the database, I'm not going to get anything useful out of it. It's all just going to be encrypted nonsense and garbage. There's no backdoors. It's all completely out of our hands. And we believe that everything you put in the application is your property. So if you need to export it and bring it to another platform or anything like that, you absolutely can. It's your right because it's your data. So it belongs to you. And I'm also a Laurier grad. I was a member of this club 2 or 3 years ago. So it's really great to be back, and it's good to see so many people here. And I just want to shout out Phi for having this event and putting it all together. You guys are doing a great job, and I'm really glad to see that stuff still happening. So that's awesome. So this talk is going to be about what DevOps is, because I know if you go to Docker's website or Kubernetes website or any of that kind of stuff, it's kind of not clear what you use those tools for. If you just look up DevOps, it seems like a lot of jargon, or it talks a lot about agile and sprints and all of this stuff, and it's kind of hard to understand really what people are talking about when they talk about DevOps. And we're also going to ground that stuff in how we integrated those DevOps solutions at Zebu. So what is DevOps? Well, DevOps is kind of like a fusion of 2 words. It's developer and operations. So you may traditionally know operations as like IT professionals. And the idea of DevOps is to bring the developers team and the operations team closer together so that you can make them more efficient, you can kind of break down those walls so that you can increase the communication and the throughput that you get from those 2 teams. So what do developers do? Well, that's probably going to be pretty obvious in this room, because I imagine a lot of people in here are, show of hands, how many are in computer science? Yeah, pretty much everybody. Okay, so, and how many are in business? Okay, cool. So yeah, developers, they play new features. They sit down and they understand what the requirements for those features are going to be, and they put them together. They research and they implement those features. And at the end, they test their changes to make sure that all of their code works, their new code works nicely with the existing code. They didn't break anything, all that sorts of pretty obvious developer stuff. Operators, or IT professionals, they prepare the environment. They make sure that all of the dependencies that the developers have introduced into the system are also running on their servers. They deploy the application. They make sure that the environments are similar enough so that they can scale the application up to a lot of different servers. And they also monitor both the health of the servers and the health of the application to make sure the application is actually running properly, there's no crashes or glitches, and also that your server has enough memory and you can write to it, or that your application isn't too heavy and the CPU is, serving your customers and your clients. So DevOps, what it comes down to then, is both processes and nailing down those processes so that you can have a really efficient flow in your team, and automation. Because once you get that process down and you really understand how it works and it's reliable and you can manually execute it, you don't need it anymore. We're just going to automate it away. The robots should do it because we don't have time for that. That's nonsense. So the first process that we really decided we needed to nail down at Zebu was our Git workflow. At first we were working more like a traditional tech company. We had a big bucket of features and we were implementing them. And as we would implement a new feature, it would go into our Git development stream. And then we would patch up any problems or any use cases we could think of. And then just about as we were finishing that, a new feature would get introduced. So we were kind of constantly keeping up with this introduction of new features and new problems that arose from integrating those new solutions. And because of this, we would have a 4-month version. Be like, this is the new version, kind of like how Microsoft introduced Windows. You would wait 4 months and then you get the new version of Windows and it ships out. This, to us, didn't really feel right. We felt like we could be more agile. Why ship 10 or 12 features when you could ship a production release with 2 and get those out to the clients as fast as possible, because we're serving consumers and they want something as quickly as possible. And also, the features just got stale. After 4 months of sitting on production, we had this new branch ready to go. If you requested something 4 months ago and we were just getting around to it, it didn't really feel like we were listening to our customers and giving them the best experience. So our solution then was to really nail down our Git flow and get a 2-week sprint going. So everybody here is kind of familiar with Git, kind of understands like the high level reasons why you use it. Just a brief description, it's version control. So I can write code for my application, and then I can introduce more features in a separate environment, and then merge those features into a master environment or a development environment. So that's what we decided to do. We would introduce new features on our feature branch, merge those into the development environment so lots of people could get their hands on it and test it, make sure everything was good. And then we create a release candidate, get that to our insiders, other companies who use our product preemptively and give us feedback, and then we could release it as a production branch. So by introducing a 2-week sprint, this process allowed us to pick a bunch of features out of the bucket that we were like, we need these now. And then we would stick that into our 2-week sprint, and then we would use this Git flow to guarantee that like, once these features are done, they're in the branch. If we don't do any more, we're going to work on making sure this development branch is great, and then move that forward so that we have a really solid process. And now that this process is down, we can start to automate those next levels. And also, we introduced the hotfix for critical bugs, so that if you were on the production and we had something critical, like users couldn't onboard or users couldn't use a specific feature, then we could very quickly take a hotfix and just slap it on into our production environment. So then the next thing that we decided we needed to work on was our environment in general, how the application sits on top of the software layer. So when I first started, like 8 months ago, I really had a very basic setup. I just had our application server and a database, and then we talked to each other, and it worked. It was fine. It worked for really basic bugs like, oh, can I post messages? Do those bookmarks work? All that kinds of stuff. And so I get this new bug ticket, which is effectively like, hey, we need you to use the externals connections feature in Zebu, which, if you're not familiar with it, is kind of like shared channels in Slack. The idea is that you have 2 organizations, and they can connect to each other and have a shared set of channels. So if I like run a hotel and a plumbing, and somebody else runs a plumbing business, and we communicate frequently bidirectionally, like they run events at my hotel, and my hotel talks to them for plumbing-related things, then we can have a shared group of channels that they can talk to each other. So this feature requires a whole set of infrastructure just to be able to test. That was more complicated than what I had set up at the time. And this was kind of nerve-wracking. I was thinking about all of these different things that I would need and all of these technologies, like, oh, okay, so to get the servers to talk to each other, I need the authentication service, and then I need this other service that can take my local host's pings and redirect it to the right server, and it was all very complicated, and I just got here, I've been here for like 2 months, so I did what any naturally scared junior developer would do, and I asked my coworkers, and they were all very, very helpful. And they said, okay, so, we're going to put a reverse proxy in front of it, we're going to use Nginx, and, this is going to probably take you about a day to set up, just to get everything working. And I did this stupid junior developer thing, and I was like, a day to set up Nginx? I can probably do this faster in Docker. Yeah, no, it took me like 5 days to make these Docker containers, so don't do that. But yeah, so the nice thing, though, about this mutual environment with the Docker containers was that with any future additions or anything like that, we knew we had this kind of shared environment. And also, this kind of carries over further into scaling and onboarding. So I was one of 4 developers at the time, and Zebu has grown a lot since then. We've added 3 more developers, a couple co-ops. And so having this system that all the developers can use is really useful, because then we can share that system with newer developers and onboard them quicker. And instead of having to go up to a developer and being like, maybe you can't work on this ticket because you don't have the environment set up that we need you to have, and it's going to take too long, we can just hand it out. So for us, it makes us way more efficient at bug testing and just crunching in on features, because everybody on the team can work on them now. We have this shared environment. So process 2 and 3 kind of work together really nicely, but what sets the scaling part of process 3 apart is that these containers now can be used for things like on-premises deployments, which is what Zebu is looking at currently. Partnering with a bunch of private clouds and things, and being able to take these, being able to onboard a developer with Docker is very similar to being able to onboard a private cloud with Docker, and being able to create those containers and then ship them off and work with their IT. So the scaling and onboarding problem are very similar problems, and tooling like Docker helps us fix those, and also kind of works with the automation part, because it's doing it for you. I I didn't have to set up instead of Nginx, and I don't have to do it for every future cloud deployment we do now. I have all of this written. I just give it to them and they run it. Super great. And then another great thing about this is since we've implemented these Docker containers, we've started moving towards a microservices architecture because we really realized how useful this can be. So we have a whole bunch of new services that we've been introducing that are all microservices. And because of that, these are all very scalable. We write one container, and then we can send it anywhere. It's super useful. And and it helps us isolate the requirements as well because we have separate packages for things. So I know that if I want to work on like a sign-in interface, I'm just working explicitly with the code that runs with the sign-in so that I don't have to like search through hundreds and hundreds of files of things that aren't even related to the task that I'm working on at the moment. And so the last process was testing. So we have a really strong QA team at Zebu, shout out. And so at Zebu, what we do is called eating your own dog food. So we use Zebu every day at Zebu. So we all communicate with each other using the client app. We schedule events with the calendar. We upload things with file storage. And we make sure that there's a good amount of vitamins and minerals. We salt it nicely. Sometimes you get chunks of nasty dog food and you eat it and you don't really notice. And some bugs are harder to catch than others. We have a very ingrained way of how we use the application. And so it's better to, when we introduce new features and stuff, that we have some kind of neutral language we can communicate with QA to make sure that they are testing the features in a way that we're intending them to be used, and also so they can give us feedback on how people might actually use them. So the solution here was to increase the test coverage, bring it way up, and use Gherkins for use case syntax and manual testing. So again, we could iterate what exactly we thought people were going to be doing and highlight how these features were going to be used. So QA wasn't just left guessing on how these processes were going to be, how these solutions were going to be used. And then the auto testing on deployments is that automation aspect. We knew now that because we had this test suite that whenever we ran it on the development environment, it could tell us whether we had problems immediately. So we tied that with our deployment system. So anytime we make a deployment to our development environment, our test suite goes off and it immediately tells us if there's something wrong with the critical path of the application, which is really useful. So instead of just occasionally running the automated tests, like every night or so, we get more immediate feedback. So instead of a day or two later fixing, we might already be on the next feature working on something and they get a hit. We actually go, we need to context switch. And that's expensive for developers. Context switching kind of sucks. And yeah, so that was really useful for us as a process. And the last one is monitoring. So at Zebu, it's really important to us that our users are anonymous, that we're not intruding on their privacy, and that everything that when we interact with them, it's in a very privacy-oriented way. And so monitoring was difficult for us because we needed a way to catch bugs and make the software better. But we also needed to make sure that we could individually identify a user based on the individual, and we also needed to make sure we weren't compromising their data through any of our monitoring techniques. So I think we really nailed it. We got a really good process down to make sure that you get stack traces and some code errors, but the users remain completely anonymous. Their platform and all of that stuff is very hard to really understand how you could individually target users. So that was really important for us. And it made monitoring a little harder, but that was a process that we had to figure out and work on to really understand how we could get that to work. And we introduced some new technologies. So this is the automation part of this monitoring process, things like Pingdom. And we built a whole dashboard that will say, hey, your server health is bad. You are at 90% storage and your production environment is going to die. If you don't do something about it, go do something right now. And we have these bots and stuff that will alert us and say, hey, you're on DB today. Go check the dashboard, make sure everything's okay. Server reporting, dashboard. And yeah, okay, so the nice thing about this immediate feedback loop is that because this is monitoring on the application after we finished it and it's out in the wild, this gives us a way to plan the next sprint. This process immediately feedbacks itself into the next section because we understand, hey, we have a problem and we need to fix that problem so we can throw that into either the current sprint or the next sprint. Or this is a highly requested feature from the client. Because we're getting these features out every 2 weeks, they can then do the next suggestion, like, hey, this is great, we really love that you did this, but we like this next. So, and that goes back to the planning which is kind of how it all comes together. DevOps is this big loop, this kind of dance of devs and operators working together. And if you've read the DevOps white paper by the Docker website, you'll see that they kind of define this in 3 different ways. But there's one big overarching way where you have the developers that just stream into the operators. You have the developers and the operators working together to feed back into each other, which is the right to left to right protocol. And then the next step, which is something that we at Zebu would like to achieve, is this continuous idea where your sprints become kind of so small and so tight that you're doing these loops like every couple of weeks, like really, really quickly. And you can see, like, we monitor stuff, and we get feedback from our clients and our customers, bug reports, and then we plan out the next sprint, we implement those features and those solutions, and then we test them, and then we bring that up. And using our Docker containers, we can manage our environments, our dashboards, and our analytics solutions, and then we can deploy them to our on-premises providers, or partners, I should say, using our Docker system, and then it all comes back into monitoring and on and on it goes. So that's pretty much a kind of high overview of DevOps and how we implement it at Zebu. I'm free to take any questions. They don't have to be related to the talk. If you just want to ask stuff like general, like what's it like working at a software job, right? I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, it's it.
How much fun do you have with Docker?
Oh man, so much fun. Yeah, I get to have a lot of fun with Docker at work. I didn't talk a whole lot about the specifics of Docker, but if you get some spare time and you're like, I want to work on a hobby project, seriously consider downloading it, just play around with it. It is really cool and it's really fun to be able to just build an application on your local machine, go to like a droplet or something or a remote server and just deploy it up there. It's really cool to see your code just run somewhere else on the machine. It's really awesome. I don't know, I think that's really fun, but maybe I'm nerding out too much here. I don't know. Yeah. Yes?
What was the process like of getting that job? Like, what was like the interview application process?
Yeah, so the interview was pretty standard. They asked me questions about the job, and there wasn't necessarily like a whiteboard interview. It was more just discussing through a problem. So they gave me, it was a pretty generic problem, and we just talked through the solution, more like a conversation. I liked it more because it felt more like how 2 developers would talk about solving a problem mutually as a team member, instead of just being like, here's a marker, go sort a heap, right? Which, yeah, I thought it was really good. Yeah.
Do you have a lot of experience with Docker? Like, you make one or more projects before Zebu?
Yeah, so I had been looking, I graduated in April, and then I got the job with Zebu at the beginning of July. And so I had some time to just kind of play around and work on my skills and kind of resume pad a bit, I guess. So Docker was one of the first things that I looked at. And so I was almost entirely self-taught, but now that I've been working on it with the team, I've learned a lot of different things about how to collaborate and stuff like that. Yeah, but definitely hobby projects for sure. Yeah. Yes?
What resources did you use to learn things like Docker?
Oh, excellent question. So I use the Docker website, the tutorials on the website, which isn't super interesting, but they're really well done. Anybody else? No? Okay. Awesome, thank you guys so much. I have some stickers and stuff from Zebu if you guys want swags. Oh, also, Zebu and Lake's Environment are always looking for co-ops, so I can hand out the emails and stuff if you guys are interested. Okay. Thank you all so much for listening.
Thank you guys for coming out. There's still some pizza left over if you want. We don't really have any plates left, so
Okay.
you can have